Nice to see you again. I hope you slept well and you had a very good Sherman welcome dinner last night, and that now you are full of enthusiasm for this section about education, about the role of universities in a world of rapid transformation, and how they are dealing with the crisis in many countries. And also we're going to talk about the third mission of the universities, the global challenges that they face, also the wicked problems that we are also fighting. And one of them, the increase of mental illness in our communities, but the role also of interdisciplinarity. I would like just to make an announcement that is a translation for 3 languages. Channel 1 is Arabic, Channel 2 is English, and Channel 3 is Chinese. So you can follow within these channels. To start with, I have the privilege to introduce the President of the Republic of North Macedonia, Gordana Siljanovska-Davkova. Please, welcome.
I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you. Yes, that's the truth that I am at the moment the president, but I used to say that I'm still professor on temporary work in politics. I'm very much missing my students. Really, it is an honor to be among some of the most brilliant minds of our age, beautiful minds, I used to say. I know that your life work is a testimony that the greatest achievements in the world begin with one thing, and that is a curious mind. And probably by seeking truth, curiosity leads to discovery, and discovery to progress. But curiosity, in my opinion, is nurtured by an environment that allows it to breathe. Sadly, for many students today, education does not create such an environment. Instead of a spark that turns into a creative fire, education has become a mode for mass production of diplomas. I'm speaking about some countries, not in all countries. This is due to the fact that we are standing at a crossroads. On one side, we have the old Prussian model of education still living, that was designed 200 years ago for the line world of the first industrial revolution. It was built for the factory line and the military barracks, focusing on standardization instead of creativity, criticism, and obedience instead of inquiry. It treats students like tabula rasa, waiting to be filled with standardized facts. But the world has dramatically shifted. We already live in the 4th industrial digital revolution, a dynamic symbiosis of the physical, digital, and biological worlds. This is an era of smart systems that make independent decisions to achieve perfection in production. While the old world was somewhat rigid and linear, our world is interconnected and digitalized. A shift in the world requires a shift in education. This requires looking at reality through the eyes of the new generations. Most of us here probably belong to analog generation, but the students in my classroom are part of the digital or the visual generations. These are children who use iPads before they can even walk or speak. They swim through the internet like fish in the sea. To them, a world without digital connection is unimaginable. This creates a mismatch. We are an analog leadership trying to manage a digital generation. Strange. These young people are not looking for long ex-cathedra lectures or books of a physical library. They have the global digital library in their pockets. They are learning differently. They are taking online courses from the best universities in the world and are watching short tutorials that explain complex concepts in a couple of minutes. They aren't just changing what they learn, but also how they think. Education is no longer a one-way street. It is no longer just the teacher speaking to the student. It has become a dialogue. It is now the teacher, the student, and artificial intelligence. This new neural network of education is unavoidable. We used to think education was about downloading facts into a brain. However, a smartphone can hold more data and facts than all of us combined ever could. This means that the focus of education must shift from memorizing to critical thinking. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report, 50% of all employees will need reskilling by the end of this decade. The most valuable skills are not memory or obedience, but analytical and creative thinking. Artificial intelligence is part of the new model of education. It cannot and it should not be banned. However, it should be regulated because it comes with risks, the greatest of them being dependency. History shows us that when few have monopoly on knowledge, then many are left behind. Let me borrow an illustration from literature. In Umberto Eco's famous novel, The Name of the Rose, the medieval monastery is a symbol of the old feudal state. The Dominican monks, who are keepers of knowledge, represent a high-class intellectual elite, while the illiterate peasants are the serfs who live in ignorance and dependence. While the elite feasts, the serfs eat the leftovers. Yuval Noah Harari warns us that unregulated artificial intelligence can create a new digital peasantry, the consumers. If we draw a parallel to Yanis Varoufakis' concepts of techno-feudalism, we will see today's cloudalist replacing the old feudal lords, while the digital consumers are the cloud serfs. And just as the monks used the labyrinth library to hide their secrets and preserve the status quo, modern technology lords use codes and algorithms. Why? To control behavior. If we are not careful, our societies will become a sharp wealth pyramid. A tiny minority at the top will own the algorithms and the robots, while the vast majority at the bottom will have no power or relevant skills. This leads to inequality, job loss, and social injustice and unrest. But this dark future is not inevitable. I believe that the antidote is how we redefine education. If artificial intelligence knows us better than we know ourselves, education must stop focusing on information, which AI has, and start focusing on mental stability, emotional intelligence, and ethical and moral discerning, which AI lacks. We need a global consensus that AI in education and in everyday life must be transparent, fair, and human-led. AI must remain a tool, not a master. This brings me to the theme that relates to everyone in this room. Whether you are an economist, a physicist, a chemist, or a physician, each and every one of you is driven by curiosity. Some of your discoveries have brought the greatest benefits to mankind. And with your example, you can help us put curiosity in the very core of the educational system. We need this paradigm shift, including in the Macedonian education system. The Macedonian education model, unfortunately, still operates under the old paradigm. This results with low PISA results and a loss of the potential. But I believe that in science, there are no small and big states, only small and big ideas. We have people with great ideas. We have chemists and physicists who are in the top 2% of most quoted scientists globally. We have women in STEM, often suppressing the regional and even European level. We have talent and potential, but we cannot do it alone. We need your support, your ideas, most importantly, your advice. The Macedonian Academy of Sciences and Arts, our universities and faculties are open for cooperation in research and development projects that could benefit us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your presentation. Now I have the privilege to introduce Professor John Hopcroft. It's a Turing Award in 1986. He's Professor Emeritus in Computer Science at Cornell University. Professor?
Two important topics are, one is educating the next generation of scientists, and the other is restoring public support for science. And I'm going to focus on the first topic, educating the next generation of scientists. The world's population is slightly over 8 billion, and talent is uniformly distributed, but opportunity is not. 10% of individuals do not even get elementary school education. If we ignore a large fraction of the world's talent, we'll lose a significant portion of the potential next generation of scientists. We need to focus on improving education for all individuals. Fixing preschool and elementary school and high school education is too large a problem to focus on here. Thus, I'm going to talk about improving undergraduate education. China has created a project to improve undergraduate education that is having a major impact on their gross national product. They plan to make this project international and work with other nations to improve education in all nations. I will first discuss the project and then talk about the internationalization of it. Faculty at top universities in China are fluent in English and can look at US or European universities to get good content for teaching. Faculty at 1,300 lower-ranked institutions are not fluent in English, and so do not have good current content for their courses. To solve this problem, China created Project 101 to build content in Mandarin for courses in over 20 disciplines. To do this, the Ministry of Education started with computer science and asked each of the top 33 universities to appoint an individual to select the important courses to develop talent for. The individuals selected 12 computer science courses. One of the individuals was assigned to each course to create a team of researchers to create material for the course. Each of these faculty members identified 10 or so faculty who had taught the course and were familiar with the content to produce good content for the course. Other disciplines saw the importance of the computer science content and joined Project 101 to create content for courses in their disciplines. The initial focus in computer science expanded to include mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, economics, philosophy, statistics, basic medicine, and the science of Chinese medicine. The second component of Project 101 was to improve the quality of teaching. The initial 33 universities soon grew to 200 universities. At this point, we realized that the top 200 universities only educated 20% of the nation's undergraduates. To truly improve undergraduate education, we needed to improve teaching at the 1,300 lower-ranked institutions that educated the remaining 80% of undergraduates. Earlier, we had identified several hundred good teachers who wanted to do something to improve education in China, but they were not in a position to do so. When we started to improve education in the universities supported by the 31 provinces, these faculty agreed to help us. In each province, a group was formed to help faculty at provincial universities improve their teaching. At this point, China's president, Xi Jinping, recognized what we had done to improve education and presented us with a gold medal. I wondered, what had we done that got us this recognition? When I talked to government staff, they told me that Project 101 was starting to have an impact on China's gross national product, and that put us up at the top. The Minister of Education called me in and told me that it would be better if what we were doing in the provinces was official, and he added improving education at 1,300 universities to Project 101. This required that we develop a simple strategy to improve education at 1,300 universities. The strategy we developed was to change the metrics by which university presidents were evaluated. University presidents in China have 5-year appointments, and if they do well, they'll get a higher level job. Otherwise, they'll be given a less important position. University presidents were focused on improving the international ranking of their institution. The international ranking was based on research funding and number and quality of research papers. Their strategy focused on evaluating university presidents by the quality of teaching at their universities. Doing this did not require additional funding. We just proposed that the governor of each province evaluate the undergraduate teaching at each university in their province. Each province in China has about 60 universities. To do this, each university would provide 5 faculty, each of whom would evaluate 4 lectures at other universities. This would result in the evaluation of 20 lectures at each university. Adding the scores would produce a statistical ranking of the quality of teaching at each university. The rankings would be kept confidential. Each president would be told if his university was among the top third, the middle third, or the lower third of quality teaching in the province. Most university presidents would then focus on improving teaching rather than increasing the number of research papers that are of little value. The evaluation of a lecture would involve, is the faculty member engaging the students? Is the faculty member excited and knowledgeable of the material he's teaching? Are the students engaged and absorbing the material? Where this has been done, the quality of education has improved significantly. If governors change the metrics by which university presidents are evaluated, university presidents would start exploring ways to improve teaching. Project 101 has significant experience in improving education and can provide university presidents with many techniques to try. A president could evaluate the teaching of all faculty members. They could add teaching as a factor for promotion. For a faculty member to get tenure, an individual's teaching would be required to be among the upper third in quality. Statistically evaluating teaching would also allow the president to know the quality of teaching in each department. It would also send a message to department chairs that quality of teaching is important. Some items a department chair may consider to suggest individual faculty select a colleague to sit in a couple of their lectures and tell them how students respond to the lecture. Reduce faculty workload so that faculty have significant time to explore research that excites them. Ignore titles and awards and focus on results. Reduce emphasis on research money and papers. Terminate requiring junior faculty working for senior faculty and make all faculty independent. Create an environment that supports faculty. Help new faculty acquire housing, get good elementary and high school admission for their children. Ensure faculty teaching assignments excite them and support their intellectual development. If a faculty member wants to transfer to a different department or university, support it. The second component of Project 101 is to improve the quality of teaching and focuses on helping faculty improve teaching. One methodology that grew out of a project to evaluate teaching, in which a faculty member sits in on a lecture and observes the interaction of the faculty member teaching the course with the students in the course. When evaluating teaching, one learns information that can help the professor teaching the course improve his teaching. This is key. Let me illustrate by telling you what I learned in evaluating one class. The faculty member was an outstanding young faculty member and was teaching 30 students. When she started, every student was engaged and listening carefully. About 30 minutes into the lecture, half of the students disengaged. I wondered why. The faculty member had just put up a mathematical theorem and then spent 20 minutes proving the theorem. I talked to the faculty member after the lecture and told her what had happened. We discussed it for a while and concluded that maybe the students did not understand what the formal mathematical theorem said. It might have been better if she had explained the theorem intuitively, why it was important and how it should be used. She could have then engaged the class in converting the intuitive form of the theorem to the mathematical form. We also discussed if it made sense to spend 20 minutes proving the theorem. Maybe just discuss the key steps that would be needed. This led to discussing what we would like students to remember about the lecture 6 months from now. It's not the detailed formal proof. Based on this experience, Project 101 intends to have faculty sit in on lectures and discuss how students interacted with what their teachers taught. The assumption is that the resulting discussion will lead to improved teaching. Having discussed Project 101 and its application in China, I would now like to discuss internationalization of Project 101. China has asked that we make Project 101 international and work with other countries to improve undergraduate education in all countries. An individual or administrator that wants to work with Project 101 is welcome. There are 2 ways to be involved. The first is to help with the content. Having the best faculty create the material created a problem. Many of the graduates at their institutions go to the US or Europe to get PhDs. They have created excellent course material for their students. Faculty at the 1,300 provincial universities say the material is excellent for top universities, but is very theoretical, and their students take jobs in industry and need more applied material. One way to get involved in Project 101 is to work together with us to create course material that is appropriate for universities with different missions. The computer science material can be downloaded at www.project101.cn, and a key contact for Project 101 is Yao Gao at PK University in Beijing. Another way to get involved is to partner with us to improve teaching in both our countries. Kazakhstan has taken this approach and asked that one of us be on their International Advisory Board to improve education in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan has 77 universities, and they are planning on evaluating the quality of teaching at each university and informing the university president if their institution is in the top third, middle third, or lower third. If you're an administrator or a faculty member who wants to get involved with China's Project 101, you can contact Yao Gao at the email address here. And working together will help both of our nations improve education. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.